Edition of the Market Review, and today, the 16th of July, 2020. Let's give you a lineup of what we will be discussing this morning. Review of Wednesday, July 15, 2020 market performance, notification of board meetings by listed companies, the CSCS, that's the Central Securities Clearing Systems PLC donation to support capital market initiative on COVID-19, and Accela's digital closing gong ceremony at the Nigeria Stock Exchange to mark its 11.5 billion naira Series 1 bonds raising. And now let's get on to the market performance for yesterday. In the NSE ASI, the equities market closed yesterday on a positive note as the NSE ASI appreciated by plus 0.06% to close at 24,130.26 basis points, as against 0.36% depreciation recorded previously. Its year-to-date returns currently stands at 10.10%. In terms of market performance, we can say that looking at the Nigeria Stock Exchange, that performance was rated at a remarkable level. The Sunu Assurance led 10 gainers as against 15 losers, topped by Julius Berger at the end of yesterday's session, an improved performance when compared with previous outlook. The market turnover closed positive as volume moved up plus 0.003% as against minus 9.96% downtick recorded in the previous session. Sterling Bank, United Bank of Africa, and Zenith Bank were the most active to boost market turnover. MTN and Zenith Bank topped the market value list. John Halls Limited led the list of active stocks that recorded impressive volume spike at the end of yesterday's session. Let's go to the NSE OTC. At the NSE OTC market, at the end of yesterday's market activities, its current market size is at 522.93 billion naira, with 711.9 basis points in its share index. The year-to-date trade volume is 7.81 billion naira, while its year-to-date trade value is 10.21 billion. Let's go to the bonds and fixed incomes market. First, for the bonds, FGN bonds, the FGN space traded on a very lethargic note with very few trades passing through the curve. The market opened one-sided yesterday, mostly bidded from the mid to the long end of the curve, with very few offers to match the bids. Activities peaked slightly by midday with few trades consummated on the 2034s and 2050s papers, which settled around 9.88% and 10.70% levels respectively. Subsequently, yields stayed flat on the short and mid-dated papers but compressed by an average of 15 basis points on the longer-dated maturities by the close of business. Zcrest, who provided this report published on ProShare, expects that the market will close the week on the calm note, while local investors cherry picks on the few bonds offered at attractive levels. Looking at the treasury bills, the OMO bill space traded yesterday on an active note, with trading activities kicking off the day on short-dated papers. The early hours opened with actions on the October and December bills, with trade settling around the mid of 5%. However, by close of business, Zcrest saw some late-hour transactions on the 8th of June papers starting at 6.20%, but lost approximately 25 basis points to close the day at 5.95% on the offer. As such, Zcrest says yields compressed by 66 basis points day on day across the OMO bill curve. Contrary to the OMO bills, the National Treasury bills space traded on a very quiet note as attention shifted to the outcome of the primary market auction, scheduled for today. At the PMA auction, the Debt Management Office raised approximately 107 billion naira, the same amount on offer, with rates dropping by an average of 21 basis points across the three tenors offered. Zcrest expects to see few actions on the NTB space, mostly from retail clients, as they sought to fill their outstanding demands from the auctions. In the money markets, the interbank rate dropped slightly by an average on 198 basis points, which was supported by a positive system liquidity of approximately 79 billion naira. Consequently, The overnight buyback and overnight rates closed the day at 10% and 10.79% respectively. ZecCredit expects a respite in the interbank market of tomorrow as inflows from retail refunds and OMO maturities are credited into the system, while interbank rates will most likely drop to single digits level. At the FX market, the Naira depreciated by 50 kobo at the import and export FX window as supply squeeze continued to affect the general flow of funds, which remains fairly low, while most banks remain bided between 286 Naira to a dollar and 289 Naira to a dollar. All other market segments stayed flat, with the cash and transfer market closing the day at 465 Naira to a dollar and 467 Naira to a dollar respectively. In the Eurobonds, the Nigeria sovereign tickets traded on a quiet note, although the market remained largely bullish across the curve as offers worsened across the curve. Yields compressed at an average of 4 basis points, with gainers seen across the sovereign curve. Contrary to the sovereign, the Nigerian corporate tickets traded on a bearish note as yields continued to weaken among most tracked papers. The UBA 2022s and the Zenith 2022s weakened by 30 basis points and 10 basis points respectively. That's a review of market activities for yesterday, Wednesday, July 15, 2020. Let's get on to some notifications from listed companies, and we begin with Adova, who, pursuant to the post-listing requirements of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, has notified the Nigerian Stock Exchange and the investing public that the meeting of the board of Adova, the directors, has been scheduled to hold on Thursday, July 30, 2020, to consider and approve the unaudited financial statement for the period ended 30th June 2020. Further to the above, the closed period shall commence, which already has commenced yesterday, July 15, 2020, in accordance with Rule 17.18, period of closure rulebook of the exchange in 2015 issuers rules. Consequently, no director, person discharging managerial responsibility, employee with sensitive information, advisor and consultant of the bank and their connected persons may directly or indirectly deal in the shares of the company until 24 hours after the unaudited financial statement for the period ended 30th June 2020 are released on the exchange. Also, McNichols Consolidated PLC, listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, is notifying the investing public and all stakeholders and shareholders that it scheduled its board of directors meeting on the Thursday, the 30th of July 2020. The meeting is to approve the company's second quarter unaudited accounts, and consequently, in compliance with the rulebook of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, the closed period commenced Tuesday, 14 July 2020, until 24 hours after the unaudited reports have been filed with the exchange. During the closed period, no director, person discharging managerial responsibility, and advisor of the company and their connected persons shall directly or indirectly deal in the shares of the company in any manner during the closed period. We also bring to you from the EcoBank Transnational Incorporated the notice to all stakeholders and shareholders that the board of directors of the ETI is scheduled to consider the unaudited accounts of ETI for the period ended June 30th, 2020, which is the second quarter of the year. The meeting is in compliance with Rule 17 of the Nigerian Stock Exchange listing rules. There will be a closed period, which began in July 14, 2020, until 24 hours after publication of the unaudited accounts with the exchange. During the closed period, no insider, including its directors, employees, and interested parties, may deal directly or indirectly with ETI shares. Another notice of meeting comes from WAPIC Insurance PLC. The WAPIC Board of Directors informs the public and the exchange that it's scheduled to hold a virtual board meeting on the 29th day of July 2020 to, amongst other things, review the company's performance for the second quarter of 2020 financial year, as well as consider and approve the second quarter 2020 unaudited financial statement of the company. The company has also declared a closed period in respect of transactions on its securities with effect from July 14, 2020 until 24 hours after the announcement of the unaudited financial statement for the period ended June 30, 2020 to the public in compliance with the listing rules of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Accordingly, no director, employee, person discharging managerial responsibility, advisor of WAPIC Insurance PLC, and their connected persons may directly or indirectly deal in the securities of the company in any manner during the closed period of the trade, and of course all insiders have been notified accordingly. Let's look at the market's support to tackling the impact of COVID-19. The Central Securities Clearing System PLC, CSCS, Nigeria's capital market infrastructure, yesterday donated a fully equipped and insured state-of-the-art ambulance to the Capital Market Support Committee for COVID-19, an initiative of the Security and Exchange Commission, which is chaired by one of the capital market veterans, Mr. Rio Olusegun. In addition, CSCS made a cash donation to the CMSCC initiative. The Capital Markets Support Committee for COVID-19 seeks to complement the efforts of the federal government and state governments in stemming the spread of the novel coronavirus, which has undermined economic and social activities across the globe. In furtherance of its reinforced commitments towards the war against COVID-19 and the demonstration of its strong corporate social responsibility efforts, CSCS will also be partnering other stakeholders in the distribution of 100,000 reusable face masks aimed at providing free reusable face masks to the most vulnerable low-income households across the country. In his remarks while presenting the ambulance and cash donation to the CMSCC, the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the CSCS PLC, Mr. Haruna Waziri, said, "We find it imperative to collaborate with other stakeholders in the capital market in this war against COVID-19. The safety of Nigerians and the growth of the economy is a collective responsibility that we cannot leave to the government alone. We have committed 100 million naira to this war against COVID-19, as we are also supporting the efforts of other stakeholders. Whilst we continue to support the society through the CSR initiatives, we believe our most impactful support to the capital market and broader Nigerian economy is through our services." According to him, "I am excited that we have operated seamlessly through this crisis, leveraging our investment in technology and people in ensuring efficient depository and settlement of capital market transactions across multiple capital market trade points, including the Nigeria Stock Exchange, the FMDQ Exchange, and the NSDOTC. Speaking further, Mr. Jalo Waziri said, "I would like to thank our Board of Directors for taking this crucial decision for us to join well-meaning, responsible corporates and other stakeholders in the fight against this novel coronavirus. Whilst it is a challenging time for businesses, it is sacrosanct for corporate leaders to make all possible sacrifice towards this cause, which is perhaps pertinent to the sustainability of businesses and the broader economy." While receiving the ambulance and cash donation, the chairman of the CMSCC, Mr. Rio Olusegun, applauded the executive management and board of the CSCS PLC for the response to the SEC-led clarion call on capital market stakeholders. He noted that CSCS has in its usual practice demonstrated commitment to the well-being of the Nigerian public and more precisely support for the growth and development of the capital market, part of efforts to support the development of the market. Today is another interesting day in the market as Excella Group Limited will, from 2:15 p.m., perform a digital closing gong ceremony to commemorate the listing of its 11.5 billion naira bond on the Nigeria Stock Exchange. This will be performed by Mr. Bolaji Osunsanya, the CEO of Excella Group Limited, with Mr. Oscar Onyema, the CEO of Nigeria Stock Exchange, as chief host. The Excella Series 110 billion naira bond, at the close of its offer, was oversubscribed at 24%. The company took in mandated 15% with total proceeds now at 11.5 billion naira. Very interesting times for the markets. And just to inform our viewers that in this period, there are painstaking efforts and collaborations among capital market stakeholders to improve level of literacy, to support the COVID-19 efforts, and also to inform the public on the need to continue to leverage digital platforms to improve market operations. We'll continue to give you updates on all those developments in this period, as it's very important for the markets. It's been a very interesting time, and that will be all for this market review. You can join us throughout the week for our reports, analysis, and exclusive interviews on the Nigerian capital market. Also log on to our website, www.proshange.com, to read our news reports, watch our videos, and analysis. In this period, to all our investors and the public, please, we implore you to be aware of online platforms that promise 100 to 200% returns and are not registered or do not have the regulations by the Securities and Exchange Commission. Nigeria has had a history of all schemes that have ripped off customers and investors and the public of their hard-earned savings and money. Do not give in to their schemes and strategies. Do not allow them to sway you with their interesting offers. Do not allow those platforms to take off what you've worked hard for and have been and lost so much money in this period. There's a long history of people that have stories to tell of how they've lost all their savings just because they were misinformed or misled by these platforms and schemes. The Securities and Exchange Commission has continued to issue advisory notes to Nigerians, which we carry on ProShare, and we will continue to post that out and inform the public. In these times of challenging period, particularly the global crude oil price crash and the COVID-19 pandemic, which is going to affect businesses, incomes and earnings, it is not a time that your little income, your investments should filter away to wrong platforms that are not registered or noted or captured by the regulators. Once again, we appeal, particularly to millennials, digital platforms, whatever platforms they are, if they're not regulated or registered, we must avoid being part of them. And just a reminder to the fact that in trying to deepen financial education and literacy, the Nigeria Stock Exchange has rolled out the Stock Town. And it is important that millennials and public try to understand how to invest and participate in the markets. All you just need to do is log on to www.nsc-stocktown.com. There you can see and virtually connect and read stories around how to invest and engage in the markets. It will address the issue of financial literacy and would go a long way to address the challenge of the public and investors who have been ripped off over the years. A major concern in this country and the challenge is Nigerians don't want their money going down the drain in investment schemes. And if that is the case from surveys from the likes of Coronation, Asset Management, the research team, then it's important that they are informed, they are aware, and you make the right decision. And how can you make the right decision if you are not exposed to the right information? And that is why the market review is here every day in the week, Monday to Friday, 10 a.m., to give you insights on what's happening in the market, to exclusive interviews, interactions, and also giving you information that will empower you to make that right investment decision. And so this is why we implore you all that part of our responsibility is to ensure that we keep the market informed, we enlighten you and empower you with the right information to make the right investment decision. Because we don't want you to be a victim of platforms, like we said earlier, that have taken off or ripped off people of their investments and savings. So take advantage of the Stock Town. Millennials, investing public, take advantage of it. Read and learn about investments because it's very important. In WebTV, we also have other related programs that give you updates around the markets. The market opening gong every 7 a.m. in the morning from Monday to Friday. Also, we have the human angle, which is keyed into personal finance, and you learn things around budgeting, planning, and finance, and also the market review that we are currently having. It's very important for us because when we inform you properly, you can make that right decision. Thank you once again, and till we come your way again as we wrap up the week tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day and stay safe.